our prison wife sister, Christina, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her journey as a prison wife as part of our summer storytelling series.
Well, what if I'm not what he was expecting? Or like, what if he likes the version of me on the phone than the in-person version of me? So I was very, very, very nervous.
Have you, felt like dehumanized or dismissed by your friends or family? Like, how are they reacting to your newfound relationship?
So my sister no longer speaks to me. A lot of my family have stopped talking to me. I know this sounds crazy, but of all the people I've ever dated, this has been the best relationship I've ever had.
That doesn't sound crazy over here because
I was going to say, that sounds normal to me because I feel the same way.
I don't live my life around what other people think, because if I did that, I would never be happy because you're always going to upset someone. I changed my law focus to criminal law because what I want to do now is I want to help those that are incarcerated get out sooner.
This is for the prison wife. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold.
All right, so let me tell you the tea that everybody's going crazy about, and I saw it. Made national headlines. New Orleans making national headlines for all the wrong reasons. The Orleans Parish Prison, which is basically the one where they had the 10 escapees. One's still on the loose. They've captured all 9. I also want to add this in too, for those of y'all that don't know. They are actually being housed at Angola's death row.
That makes sense.
So yeah. So they were housed at the old death row at Angola, and now they're being housed in the same place where Michael is. Michael saw them come in and all kind of stuff. And so they're being housed there, 23-1 basically. And but recently a guy got out, was released, but now they're saying it was the wrong person that they released. So now there's this like manhunt for this incarcerated individual who was released. And it was a mistake on the prisons, the parish prisons part, basically.
I guess I don't understand how that even happens.
And apparently this is not the first time that it's happened. Like, this has happened multiple times. Yeah. And on top of that, the federal government has taken over the Orleans Parish Prison. And then this happens.
Wow. So yeah. Is it someone that was serving like a life sentence, or do you?
I honestly don't know what the sentence was, but I guess I don't know if there was 2 people with the same name or what, but this guy was released and now they're like putting his mugshot everywhere saying it was a mistake. He shouldn't have been released. It was the wrong person.
Wow,
like,
how embarrassing.
Yeah. Welcome to New Orleans.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
All right. So we also have moving into some fun stuff I'm very excited about. I know you're excited about. Did you want to share what's coming down the pipe this fall?
Well, that we're going to be speaking at a conference together, not just in a podcast setting. You and I are going to be talking to people in front of them without a microphone to block it, without a computer screen to keep us from.
We're going to be in
anything. I don't know.
We're going to be in the flesh, giving a speech. This is like my worst nightmare, but I'm very excited about it. It's my biggest fear. But I know I have Paige with me to do this, and we're going to talk about obviously the pod, what we do, the Love Within Walls support group, our mission, our goals, fighting stigma for prison wives.
For anyone, since I didn't really clarify it the correct way and we're still talking about it, Gigi and I are going to be speaking at the Connecting for Justice conference that is held in this year. It's in Las Vegas again. It's an annual conference. It used to be the Prisoners Family
International Family Prisoners Conference
in Vegas, and so it's still under the same like management and everything. It's just they changed their name and they changed actually a little bit of their focus to kind of use it as like a time also for us to get information, but also as a time for like all these different people from all sides of criminal justice to get together in a room and like talk about how we can fix it. and like things that we know, and like, having people from all walks of life, like even like cops, COs, prison wives, like, you know what I mean? People who were previously incarcerated. It's really exciting. And like, we're even like, there's a thing for before with the speakers where like we'll get to meet everyone and talk with them. And I'm like so excited to pick people's brains, and like, I love connecting with people and meeting people. So like something like this is really exciting.
Yeah, and I was going to say they do leave a lot of space and time for you to be able to network and connect with other people from all walks of life within the criminal justice community. And it's a really great opportunity that we're very, very excited about. And I hope I do. I mean, I'm not worried about Paige because she's solid, but I'm worried about me getting nervous and stuttering. That's
No. And even if you do, no one will care. Like, think about it. When you like listen to other people give speeches, it's like if they stutter, if anything, you sit there, you're like, oh no, I hope that they don't think about that.
Yeah, you feel
Yeah.
empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wish us luck. If you want to come, we do have if you want to come to the conference, if this is something that you're very interested in, we have a code. I'm going to give you the code for our Wallers. This will give you a discount code for the 2-day registration. The conference is November 4th and 5th in Las Vegas at Sam's Town Casino. The code for the conference, if you're interested in registering, is LOVEWW25. That will be available through September 19th. And it will give you I want to say it's like a $50 or $75 discount on the fee for registering. And they do provide some meals during the conference for you. And it gets you in for the 2 days, and it gets you a few meals, like I said, and some other things that they have during the conference time. And then we also have a hotel code if you do plan on staying. It's in our Love Within Walls group, so let us know so you can get that group discount. And guys, the hotel was actually very reasonable. I was shocked for Vegas how reasonable it was. So please, if you need that information, hit us up, comment below, message us. Please go to our Love Within Walls group on Facebook, and you can also get those codes there. All right, Paige, we ready to get started? All right, and come support us talking, y'all, because I'm scared shitless. All right, well, welcome everybody to Love Within Walls, a Prison Wife podcast. I'm your host, Gigi here, and I'm here with
Your host, Paige. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Before we get started, though, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor. It's our lovely OG Wallers at the Patreon.
Y'all are awesome.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting us. And we plan on getting you a Patreon this week. And we're going to have fun this week on Patreon, I have a feeling. So thank you to all of our family over there. We love you guys so much. And thank you for supporting our little potty pod here for today. We couldn't do without you.
Love y'all.
Extra besitos for you guys. All right, Paige, you ready to rock and roll?
For sure.
Okay, here we go. I'm getting my musics. All right, it is What Up With That legislation. Paige, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have a few different things to touch on.
Okay, me too.
So my first one is just talking about something that we've already talked about on here before, but as it continues to flow through the media, I just want to share it on here too. So the families of the loved ones who had passed away during the family visits in California, the families have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against California CDCR over the two deaths that have happened. For anyone who is unaware, the families of the women were named Tania Thomas and Stephanie Dowles. They have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against CDCR for these deaths. And both of these women were strangled as per the reports that were done afterwards by all the postmortem reports that were done. Both of these visits were conjugal visits at Mule Creek State Prison in 2024 under the same management, the same COs, the same staff, the same prison. I just want to keep my foot on that. Thomas died in July and Doles died in November, and these are both tragic deaths. I'm not making light of any of the situation. It absolutely is terrible and should never have happened. But it just raises up all kinds of red flags as to how it happened. A lot of things have been going around saying that some of these men, especially the one man, should not have had family visits. Like, I guess his original charge had to do with DV with his significant other, and like those are like two of the things that you can't get a family visit for. So I the entire process, for anyone who's unaware, to get approved for family visits in California, you have to fall within these special things that are laid out for you. And then even if you still fall within those, your counselor and your CC1 and your CC2, they have to approve it. They can't just because you fall within it. They look at your significant other, they look at you, they look at all of these things, your mental health, and then they make their decision. And so someone looked at this man's chart and said, all right, let's go for it. Even though he had like allegedly he had apparently tried to unalive himself like a month before.
Wow.
And that is a documented thing. And that's like, why is that not talked about? And it's all these things. So I'm like, it's not that, it's terrible that this happened. But if anything, I would be interested to see what kind of investigation is done onto Mule Creek, because this is not a CDCR problem. This is a Mule Creek problem.
It's a Mule Creek problem.
I would like pull all the files from Mule Creek from that year. Yeah. What happened in 2024 and what was covered up? You know what I mean? Because like it's not a coincidence that these are the same prisons, and it's not a thing that, oh, if you're a violent offender, you shouldn't have family visits, because that's another thing that they're trying to push, because they were a violent offender, and that's just not. You are going backwards in your California model if you push that way. And
yeah,
it's sad, but it's what's happening, and I just wanted to talk about it on here.
I would want to know who is signing off on these. Who is the person signing off? That's my question. Mm-hmm. Because clearly the mental health professional, if they're signing off, or the counselor who's signing off, clearly is not doing their job, or they're just signing and not really looking at the jackets of these people. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is when they misstep, now the blame goes to the incarcerated individual and not the people in charge of this program at Mule Creek. And like you said, it's not a CDCR problem, because this isn't happening at all CDCR facilities. However, they're trying to punish all CDCR facilities, which is messed up. Mm-hmm. So my question is, who is the big wigs or the professionals signing off on this and not really looking into these people's jackets and these people's mental health?
And maybe they need to do more screening beforehand. And if they have serious medical conditions where they do try to unalive themselves, maybe that needs to be documented and looked at, because like I know that they just throw, incarcerated people's health and mental health out the window as if that doesn't matter. But then like when these situations happen, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not doing anything. And I know that because like, you know what I mean? They don't record overdoses. They don't record anything. It's only when there's a problem because of their negligence that they now want to be like, oh.
Well, they don't want to take responsibility for it. They want to blame, of course, the person that's already at the bottom of the totem pole, Mm-hmm. So. All right. Well, welcome to Louisiana. I'm still in Louisiana, y'all. We are so corrupt. It's not even funny. In the past 2 weeks, we've had 2 incidences of Angola employees bringing in cell phones, drugs into the prison. Yet, who is the person that they blame? Us, the visitors. So this was from a few weeks ago. This was the second employee that was charged. Lakeisha Brown was 35. She smuggled drugs, apparently 1.5 pounds of drugs into the prison. That included 14 grams or 1.5 pounds of marijuana, 14 grams of methamphetamine, and get this shit, 2.2 ounces of fentanyl. The one before that was bringing in drugs and cell phones. And if you don't know, in Louisiana, distributing fentanyl is a automatic life sentence.
So is she going to prison for life?
So she's going to the women's prison for sure because, and I'm sure she's going to make up this story about how they pressured me. They pressured me to bring all these drugs in and all this stuff. And it's like, no.
Guess what? They might have. They might have. You did it.
Well, what I'm saying is if they're doing that, you need to report that immediately. But I think people see the dollar sign. They don't see,
that's typically what it is. They don't just do it for funsies. Yeah. It's either they have like a relationship with someone incarcerated or they see money signs.
Correct. Also, I'm going to go ahead and give a call out, a negative shout out to former Ouachita Parish District Attorney Mike Ruddick, who basically bullied his own witness on the stand this week in Jimmy Duncan's trial hearing for his appeal bond. Basically had the courtroom in a complete shell-shocked mode, and the judge had to restore order in the court because people were so livid at his performance, which was disgusting. And when we tell people the DAs, I'm going to tell you, when we tell people the DAs here are super ugly and corrupt and nobody believes us, this is the shit they try to get away with. So he called, Jimmy Duncan is obviously the gentleman who we've been talking about. He was on death row for over 30 years. He's been found factually innocent by a judge. He was going to his appeal bond hearing this week, and the DA called the victims, the little girl who was who tragically passed away, the little girl's mother, onto the stand. Well, the little girl's mother is for Jimmy's release. She knows that the DA basically lied to her these 30 plus years. The DA basically told her at one point, she went to go talk to him and he told her to F off. Okay. He calls her on the stand. This is his biggest mistake, because not only does she call his ass out, he gets so angry with her. He says that such and such doctor who fabricated the evidence against Jimmy Duncan is 6 feet in the ground, just like your daughter. Told the mother this. The courtroom went into a frenzy, and the judge had to call order and make him apologize. And that's all now on court record.
Good.
So I'm just letting you know what kind of disgusting POSs we have for DAs here. And unfortunately, they get elected. Unfortunately, they get brought back for cases that they prosecuted. And this is their behavior. This is their tactic, to bully and take away the dignity of their own witnesses.
Gross.
So I just wanted to make that apparent and aware of what we're working with here and how vile and disgusting these DAs are. Because August 1st, these DAs are going to have a lot more power, and especially when it comes to death penalty cases. And I need people to know, like, this is what this is what our representatives are voting for. This is what our government is wanting, to basically lock away people and not want to let them out, even if they're factually innocent, and to degrade their own witnesses. And actually victims are, people that experienced tragedy. So, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. You go ahead. Next one.
That just makes me think of beautiful Leah Glossip and Richard Glossip over in Oklahoma. They're dealing with an insanely corrupt DA. We have people on both sides of the aisle that are screaming that this man needs a new trial. He's innocent, let him out. And then you have this DA who's actually just set on Richard staying in prison for life and making his whole life hell because he's miserable.
And was he trying to make Richard have another murder case? Like, was he trying to add a third murder case or something?
It's been so back and forth, and like the way that their court has been moving, they almost moved it as if he could get out earlier this week. And then they pushed it and were like, actually, like literally I saw an article yesterday that was like, no, this has to go all the way through trial again, blah, blah. Like they are literally just changing their mind every other day. I cannot even imagine what, Richard and Leah are going through. Like they're literally playing a game with their lives.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
And it's also like the guy in Texas who was charged with shaken baby syndrome, and it was found to be invalid, and now he has an execution date in Texas. I forgot his name, Robert something, but it shows you the power of the DAs have and how disgusting they really are. And it's just so, and the fact that both of these, Richard Glossop and Jimmy Duncan, were both having bail bond hearings the same week. And we still don't know the outcome of Jimmy's yet. It's going to be ruled hopefully on Monday. But to know that this is happening to Richard Glossop and it's not going the way that people are like, you have representatives, you have former DAs, you have people speaking out saying that he's innocent, and then you have this DA keep trying to keep it. Like they don't want to admit they're wrong.
Glossop's case, the one witness that they said that they had spoke out and said that they were lying, and it still is what it is now. So it's just insane. So that made me think of that. My last what up with that I have is actually it sounds like a good what up with that. Texas begins pilot program softening solitary policies in death row. Anything like that, let's go for Texas, because as we know, they're frying them down there with the AC or lack of. At the Polensky unit in Texas, officials have launched a pilot initiative to loosen solitary confinement for death row inmates. Selected individuals can now spend limited time outside of their cells without handcuffs or shackles, engage in group meals or games, and attend religious gatherings.
Amen.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Participants report improved mental wellness, and correctional staff see the safety benefits themselves. The program may expand statewide, though no formal timeline has been announced, just because it has been so successful so far. And this matters because for families of the people who are on death row, or facing extreme isolation, this is a shift towards humane treatment and better mental health conditions and, being treated like humans. Like, I know people like to think throw them in the cage and let them rot there, but that's just not right. Hello, ACLU, are you there? I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, and I was going to say, this is something that I think because they have come in toward Louisiana's death row, because they're doing this on Louisiana. They've done this since 2018 on Louisiana's death row. And I know they've toured, the wardens have toured death row at Louisiana, and I'm glad to see that they're actually starting to take this program and model it. It was a pilot program in Louisiana at that point in 2018, and I'm glad that to see that it's starting to impact other states. I think Arizona did something similar. So it's beneficial. I mean, these men have been in there for some of them almost 30 years. I mean, they're not these new criminals who are trying to rebel against a system. And we already know that 23-1 is detrimental to your mental health and your well-being. So I'm really happy to see them piloting this. And I know it's going to be a good thing because I've seen it be a good thing in Louisiana. And I hope it goes to more people, statewide.
I feel like having any kind of compassionate policy change, especially in like an extremely harsh environment like Texas, is amazing, and we should take it, grasp it, and like shout about it and let all the other states hear about it too. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, Texas is doing this. Does your state do this? No. Well, why is Texas doing it, but my state isn't? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Kudos to Texas on that. Give kudos where kudos is due. I have one out of New Hampshire. I'm very excited to talk about this one. Hey, I don't know if you've heard of this case, but it was big on the Lifetime movies and the Pamela Smart case. Do you remember? You've ever heard of that?
Sounds familiar.
It's where she hired one of her former students. She was a teacher and she hired one of her students to kill her husband.
Didn't she die, or am I thinking of another one?
No, she's not dead. She is actually up. There are people advocating for her release. It says that all of the men who were part of this crime against her former husband have been released for over a decade now. And so they have people going to the governor's desk asking for her release. I believe she's been in prison for 35 yees. So they are calling for her release. So, hey, Pamela Smart might actually get out of prison.
If she's showing remorse, reformed, and doing everything right, why shouldn't she?
Of course. Yeah, of course. So yeah, congrats. Hope that works out. I mean, I think, after 30 years, if you're not doing good, then clearly you don't deserve a chance. But after 30 years, it shows that basically you're just paying for elderly health care at this point. So I hope, she gets a second chance. For sure. All right. Are we ready to rock and roll, Paige?
We are.
Do you have new nails this week?
I do have new nails.
All right. Oh, is it like a purple, like a lilac?
Yeah.
Or is it like a blue?
It is like a lilac.
And this got starfish on it? Oh, that's cute. That's so cute for summer.
Right.
All right. What are these called?
I don't know. What should we name them?
She sells seashells by the seashore.
Yes. That's her name.
That's the only thing that popped in my brain.
I'm here for it. I like it.
Okay. All right. Do you have any sweet or mean tweets for this week?
No, I probably do, but I didn't gather them.
Okay. Obviously yesterday I kind of got on and, some people, are still, I don't know how the video is still going, but it's still going. The Scene TV, it went to the dark side yesterday, the side that obviously is not for prison reform. And one lady said something about, because Michael's crime was basically a carjacking gone wrong in the worst case scenario. She was like, many people carjack and they don't kill people. And I was like, I understand that, but things happened in seconds and, Michael made a really bad decision. So I just had to school her. And I was like, basically saying how, even though he made a terrible, tragic mistake, he's still a human and he deserves love. So I'm trying to combat the haters a little better, one at a time. But that's about all I had, really. We got really great feedback on our last episode, so thank you guys for that. And yeah. All right. So next up, we're going to go ahead and get into our interview. Paige, do you want to introduce our little summer storytelling series part 2?
Okay, everyone. So we have our next interview for our Prison Life Summer series. This woman, her name is Christina. She is a beautiful person inside and out. She met her significant other, Kyle, through writing to him, just like us. And I can't wait for her to share her story.
All right. I'm excited too. Woo woo. All right, here we go, guys. Hey, everybody. We're here with our prison wife sister, Christina. and she's going to tell us a little bit about her journey as a prison wife as part of our summer storytelling series. So, Christina, I guess tell us a little bit about you and your incarcerated loved one.
Sure. So, I'll start by saying that before I met Kyle, I was in a 10-year domestic violence relationship. So after I left, and everything, was done, I swore off dating. I said, I'm never, ever going to date again because I'm never going to put myself in that situation. And then I enrolled into school for law. And part of that was I had a project that I had to do where I had to do like an internship at a criminal law firm. And while I was there, like I wasn't looking, but I got assigned to help with something, and it happened to be for Kyle.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I thought you wrote to him.
I did after.
Oh,
I
okay,
did.
okay. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, first, when I was working on, what I got assigned, I don't know what it was about him, but there was something that made me connect to him, and also reading like his story and his case, I felt I felt empathy for him, and I felt like the system really failed him. So after I was done with the internship, I was going back and forth like 4 months, before I wrote to him because I was scared, because I was like thinking, what am I doing? Like I told myself I'm not doing this again, So I was like, you know what? I'll just write to him as like a friend. So I did the internship 1 week in September of 2023, and then it wasn't until February 2nd of the following year that I got brave enough and wrote this message to him on Securus, and it took me forever to send. And then a couple weeks went by and I didn't get a message, so I'm like, all right, well, obviously it wasn't meant to be, not realizing that he doesn't have anyone, so he never checked. So then he did send me a message, and I was like, oh. And he wanted to call me. So I gave him my number. He ended up calling me on Valentine's Day of 2024. And it was my first time talking to someone like on a jail call. So when I first picked up, of course, I said hello. And then this recording came on. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, right? You're like, what? Who are you?
Yeah, and then it said you have 1 free minute. So I'm thinking, well, how do I get more? Well, it's going to be more than a minute. So I heard his voice, and the second I heard his voice, I knew I was in trouble. I was like, oh, I'm in this. No, oh no. So, so then after the minute, I'm like, I was scrambling to, figure out how do I put money on this? Like, it was my first call, so I was like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And I'm like Googling, and finally I found GTL, and then I was like, okay. So I quickly put it on, and then I also sent him like quick messages of like, all right, you can call me again. I got this, and not knowing that the system's, it takes like an hour for a message to go through. And then he did call, and we got to talk for like 20 minutes, and it was like the best conversation ever. And that's how we met, and that's how we started.
Wow. I bet he was totally like, you came out of left field for him, like not being on a pen pal website or anything. He probably was like, all right, who are you, and are you messing with me? Because like you're beautiful, you're sweet, you know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
he was very suspicious. Like at first, like when we were first dating, I kept saying my feelings for him and stuff, and he was like on the fence because he was thinking
Yeah.
he was wondering if he's being hustled, or is this a, so it took him a while. He had to learn that I was, real, and I wasn't messing with him, and yeah, that's how we started.
Wow. I love that.
And I was going to ask, how long did it take you to go to from like just talking to your first actual visit with
It
him?
took a while because, so I'm in Florida. As you know, Florida is a tough state for this stuff. So I applied and I got rejected. So I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
So, I ended up having to apply multiple times. And the thing is,
Okay.
like, they would reject you for like something small, like if you made a mistake on there. And then if you made a mistake, you had to wait like X number of months before you could fill it out again. So,
Is that still a rule they have?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They make
Okay.
it hard, and I took it personal, but I learned that they actually do that a lot. I'm not the only one they've done that to. And I was actually very worried. I'm like, well, what if, like, they keep rejecting me? What if Kyle's like, screw this? This is. So I did not get to visit him until September of 2024.
Wow.
So we started talking in February, and it wasn't until September where I finally got to meet him.
Wow. That's almost like Joseph
Wow.
and
And
I.
how?
We
Yeah.
get COVID, but still, it gives you
Yeah.
so much time to build the relationship.
It does, and also like nervousness too, because then, when I went there, I was like, well, what if I'm not what he was expecting? Or like, what if he likes the version of me on the phone than the in-person version of me? So I was very, very, very nervous, for sure.
I want to hear about that visit. How was it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what was that first visit like? Like, what were the emotions? Like, what was the whole experience for you,
I
for
was
y'all?
I was nervous and excited all at the same time. I was shaking too. So his prison was about 6 hours away. So I had to coordinate because I do have a dog. So my mom, watched my dog, and then I made the trip over to the Panhandle and got a hotel over there. And I brought so many different outfits, and like I put on different ones, sending them to like my trusted friend, and being like, this one, this, and she's like, that one's too bright for the first visit. Do that one, and so did that, and then had my makeup. I got up super early. I was like, I have to be perfect the first time I go. And then I got there, and then I got to experience what it's like to be a visitor and how you're treated almost like you're an inmate. They were so rough, and I was just like, I felt like I was getting PTSD from.
I bet. Like after going through all that, and then like
Yeah.
dealing with some of especially in Florida, I've heard stories about some of the.
Yes, it can be rough. Yeah. So, but it took forever, and Kyle was actually already sitting there, and I was able to pick up who he was the second I saw him, and he got up, and we had our first hug and we had our first kiss that first time. So it was really nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was perfect and everything you would have imagined.
Yes, it was perfect. But of course, me being me, I got in my head, and after I left, I'm like, I laughed too much, or I did this too much, or I did, I was just like replaying in my head everything.
Yep. Totally. I remember doing that after I literally went back to and I literally just, everything, I was like, do you remember when this happened? I'm like, do you think he's thinking about that? And that they go back and they do the same thing.
They do, exactly. And so in Florida we have Saturday and Sunday. So when I left Sunday, I wasn't expecting this. When I got in my car, I just bawled. I bawled, and I was like, I wasn't expecting this, because I had to go home, and that was it. So yeah, and I will say the other thing that was hard is so you're allowed to hold hands, but for some reason this prison we kept getting yelled at for. So they kept saying we couldn't hold hands, but it is a rule. You can hold hands, and then we wanted to take a picture. I wasn't allowed to touch him in the picture, which is why I've always gone to Paige because she's wonderful at making us touching.
Break the rules.
So yeah, and I sent Kyle one of those photos, and I remember the prison called me and said, "Do you remember what CO let you?" I was like, "No CO let me."
You're like, AI, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, wow, what a compliment. Wow, like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's great.
Wow. I wish I could understand those rules about touching and stuff during visits, because like literally one of the photos I have with me and Joseph where he's standing behind me, and his hands are like cupped with mine, and I'm like this. It started with him putting his hands on my waist and me just sitting there, and they're floating up above because they yelled at us and told us that we couldn't do that. So it's just like we're like this in the photo.
It's crazy, especially since it is it's a approved chapter in the rules. So yeah, sometimes I don't know if it's control or what it is, but it's like, or a reminder. It's they're trying to remind you that
Who's
you
in
don't
charge?
and you don't get to have this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, you go.
Oh, go ahead, Paige. Oh, I was just gonna ask. So after this first visit, you left feeling, I mean, obviously that you were talking about the roller coaster of emotions, because it is that first visit, or any visit really, you get so excited to be there, and then afterwards you feel so like, oh my God, like now I'm leaving them, and they're not coming with me, and that reality hits hard. What was it like as y'all have been visiting since? Like, as is it, has it, if you found like it's gotten better, that roller coaster, or like, I guess, what made you want to come back, and after that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't, I don't know if I can,
Yeah.
this moment where I'm feeling weak
Mhm.
and sad, obviously, how do you keep going to the next visit, and how did y'all keep building this relationship from those
Yeah, so I
visits?
will say, after I left and I was back home, we started having some conflict, and it was because I think after having that moment, I got anxiety realizing I don't get to keep having those moments whenever I want. So it caused, your body just reacts sometimes. So we were having some, and I didn't like, he didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know where it was coming from. And then it wasn't until like the second or third visit where it was happening again, where it clicked. I'm like, oh, it's not that we're having problem. It's I'm having a response to not being able to see him when I want.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that's so, but once I realized that though, it did get, it did get better. And so I'm now at the point where it's expensive, but now I go every 2 months because I have to. I'm like, I can't wait more than that. I have to do every 2 months. So,
That was going to be my next question. I was like, how often do you go and make that drive? Or like, is it possible for him to move? Like, do they move people frequently over in Florida?
yes, but again, they like to remind you, you don't get what you want. So he
Mm-hmm.
has put in a request, and he did a wonderful request. Like he told me what he put in there of like why he should be granted this. So he put in there like all the programs he enrolled in. He's never had he outlined everything of why he deserves this transfer. So he
Mm-hmm.
did a really awesome job with it. Doesn't mean, you know, they're gonna do it, but at least he did put it in. So now we're still waiting to see if it got approved or if it got declined. So yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Have you, since you said this was all new to you, like this whole like prison world or and everything that comes with it, have you, felt like dehumanized or dismissed by your friends or family? Like, how are they reacting to your newfound relationship?
So my sister no longer speaks to me. And actually, a lot of my family have stopped talking to me. And so what happened was they saw a picture of me and Kyle, and instead of coming to me directly, it went into a whole tea gossiping thing all around the family. And I found out they knew last. And
Wow.
basically, it wasn't even a conversation. It was a big like blow up attack on me where it was like, can we have can we talk?
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
were so angry. They called me names, and that just I was, they just couldn't believe how stupid I was. And they also said to me, you're being selfish. You're not thinking about the rest of the family. Like, this is going to ruin our reputation. What are people going to think when they find out? And I didn't care what other people thought.
Yeah.
So basically, my sister will never speak to me again. Um, but this isn't the first time she's done that. Anytime I've ever made a decision that she doesn't like joining the military, for example, that's her go-to. But my mom has been very supportive of her, and I tried to remind her that this isn't the first time she's done this. Like, because my mom's very, stuck in the it's because you're dating someone that's in prison. But I said that math isn't mathing because she's done it before.
Hmm.
So it is a very it's not a great relationship right now, and I am blamed for it, but I'm not. You know, I know this sounds crazy, but of all the people I've ever dated, this has been the best relationship I've ever had.
That doesn't sound crazy over here because
No,
we
I was
we
gonna say this.
can
That sounds
we
normal
can
to me, because
completely
I feel the same
relate to
way.
that. And honestly, Christina, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that from your family. I can relate. I can tell you that I don't talk about it too much on this podcast, but my family is not exactly in love with my relationship. And I literally, my brother and sister-in-law found the pod and they literally found the pod, confronted me about it to tell me that they found it. And then I'm like, okay, do you want to talk about anything? Never have said another word to me about it or anything. And that's where it's at. And it's like, okay, wow, nothing, you know?
Yeah, my sister yelled and was very angry, and I said, can I tell you the story? And she didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And she looked up this crime, and I said, well, can I explain? I said, there's more to what it says on the paper, and she was done. She didn't care.
It's a shame because it's like, you know, you think that they can at least look at us and look at the head on our shoulders and be like, do you think that we would do this for just anyone, you know?
Yes, and my family's like, you can no longer be trusted with decisions. Just it, okay, it just makes me now.
I'm so sad for you, Christina, because you're just like such an amazing, like happy, bubbly, sweet person. Like you don't deserve that.
Thank you.
Can I ask? Because I mean, my family kind of told me the same thing. Like, what would everybody think? You're going to embarrass us. How do you handle that? Like, how did you handle that?
So one thing I said is that I don't live my life around what other people think, because if I did that, then I would never be happy because you're always going to upset someone. So, and I told them I didn't take this decision lightly. Like, it's not like I, did the internship and then messaged him. I mean, I sat on it, so I really thought about it. And mostly my fear wasn't because of him. It was more because of I didn't want to go through domestic violence again. That was all it was. And I was like, I don't know if I couldn't protect myself last time. So that was really what I was thinking about. But, my family didn't really care. And even though I said, that I didn't care what other people thought, my mom said that when it comes to family, before I make decisions, I should first think, will this negatively affect them or not? If it does, then I need to not make the choice. And I said to her, well, what about my happiness though? So I understand what you're saying, that you don't want me to be, you feel like I'm being selfish because I'm not doing what would benefit you guys, but then I'm going to suffer too. So it was a lose-lose conversation. It was really bad.
I relate to that so much. It's like, it's something about that generation that they like are so wound up and tied up in what other people think. It's like I had that same conversation, and I'm like, I don't know how to write it and make you understand that I don't really care what anyone else thinks about me. If they are going to judge me off of my relationship, then there's probably someone I don't want in my life.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just gonna say, like, for us, with family that doesn't accept it, it's like you're not hurting anyone. To be like, let's be real. You're not really hurting anybody. You are just loving someone that society has thrown away. It's not like you're going out hurting people physically or emotionally. You're making a decision. You're loving. You're choosing to love in some of the hardest and hopeless conditions. And people take that so personally, but it's like you're not really hurting. You're doing, like you said, what makes you happy. And you're not hurting anybody. You're making a decision that's best for you at the end of the day. So
yeah. And I'm sure we're gonna be together forever. Like, I mean, I've never said that about anyone. Like, I can feel it though. It's that type of relationship.
How long is Kyle's sentence? I feel like I know, but I forget.
Yes. He got 25 years. With good behavior, he can do 20. But because of his circumstances, I am going to try and get commutation. And right now, I am doing volunteer work, and I'm working to change like some of the bills, like instead of doing 85% gain time, getting it to like you only have to do 60% of your sentence. Or I'm working to take on, the Capitol and stuff like that. So
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because that was literally my next question I had down here, is because I know that you recently started getting involved in prison reform and even working with reform. What lit that fire for you? And was there like a specific moment where you were like, all right, I need to get involved now?
it was when I was seeing how they were being treated and how I started hearing stories, and I'm like, wait a second. Like guards doing stuff. I'm like, wait, how are they allowed to do that and get away with it? And so then I was, and then as I started to get to know Kyle more, and he sent me, he was brave. He sent me his psych evaluation, and everything, and I just cried when I read it. I'm like, how did he get this sentence with this? And so I was like, no. And then as I started digging into research, and thank goodness for ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT questions, and that's how I learned that the prison system has nothing to do with safety, but more of it makes the state money, a lot of money, and that's what drives it. So I was like, oh, no, 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 no.
Especially in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, because we have, de-Satan. So, I learned that from Bill.
I love that. I love that.
Shout out, Mr. Bill.
So, so then I changed my law focus to criminal law, because what I want to do now is I want to help those that are incarcerated get out sooner. So that's one thing I'm going to do with that. But yeah, that's what got me into criminal reform. And then what got me into Reform Alliance was that I watched a TED Talk, and her name was Tanine, and she talked about her crime, and she owned it, and she talked about how it failed her, and it was very unfair, and the way she just owned her story and also used it to drive change. I sent an email to her just about, I wanted to learn about, getting into this work. So she had me come to something where I got to watch her, and I was actively doing things without her telling me to. So then she told me I was going to be part of Reform. So yeah.
That's
that was
amazing.
So next I have some sort of class or training that's 6 to 8 weeks long, and then I'll have a certificate, and then after that I can take on all the lawmakers and do damage.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm so excited to hear that, because you are a passionate and driven woman who you will get in there and you'll be like, all right, let's go. Let's go.
And if you won't listen to me, I'll knock the wall down. So
yeah, period.
My best interest to talk to me.
Period. I love that.
Yes, I mean I'll stand up to CEOs when I go visit now, and I know exactly what to say. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to maybe a prison wife or a partner in Florida who's just now getting into visiting their partner and wants to get involved in reform or something like that?
So with visiting your partner, I would say it's normal to have up and downs with your visits, because it is very emotional. It's very, anxiety driven. Also, what I learned too is you have to do self-care. Otherwise, you are going to lose it. So, I make sure I do meditation every morning. I take certain classes that are about well-being and stuff like that, because that actually does help with the support part. And I have less, emotional roller coaster things when I do that stuff. I think the hardest though is when you're there and you watch them degrade your loved one. That's the hard one. Yeah. And I've gotten up and I've talked, to some of the guards, and then sometimes if we got the vending machines that has cold food, but they wouldn't provide microwaves, so you can't, so so I got up and Kyle's like, don't do it, don't, and I'm like, just give me a second.
Good for you.
I go over there,
Yeah.
I know you have them. I go, so would you like me to call the Secretary of of the prison, or would you like to go get the microwave? And they were like, let me see what I can do. Got a microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, queen.
Because why wasn't that there to begin with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a game. And I have no problem saying I am not an inmate. I am a constituent. I pay taxes, and I will contact, I always throw names. So, like, in my district, we have Diane Hart, and she's very well known for not messing with this stuff. So I'll say, when I get home, I'm going to meet with Diane Hart, and I'm going to document and show her everything. And so usually that stuff's like, okay.
Good. Hey,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do to protect them, because unfortunately, just asking for it does not get you the
No.
same result.
Yeah, I'm at the
Yeah.
point where, like, so we also belong to an organization called Florida Cares, and they take
Yes.
care of, like, the loved ones, and a lot of the family members will get on and report all this stuff, and Florida Cares will try to help. I take it a step further, and I tell Florida Cares, but then I take it upon myself and talk to the warden. I'm like, I'm going to talk to this person, and
Sometimes you gotta. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm tiny but mighty.
I love that.
Now, for reform, what I would say is do your research. Make sure you know the stuff that you're talking about. And just know you're going to get backlash. You're going to get trolls. I get them all the time. And it's, that's the kind of stuff you have to deal with. You have to just be, tough and be like, I know what I'm doing. And a lot of times I'll share stories, and I'll be called a liar. That doesn't happen. That's never happened. And I witnessed it. So unless I'm imagining things or seeing things, it does happen. And then the other thing I do, which I think has helped, is whenever I see the Department of Justice, like for Florida, make a post that's positive about inmates, what I'll do is I'll screenshot it, send an email to, like, the person in charge of the corrections, and tell them, I really love this post. I want to see more of these. And positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That shows them that, people are watching and waiting. So, keeps them on their
Yes.
toes.
Yes.
And it lets them know, like, that you appreciate them highlighting the good things, not just showcasing the negative, obviously.
Right. And then, like, last visit was the first time they let us hold hands. So as soon as I was done, I emailed the warden, and I said that was the best visit I've ever had, and I told him why, and I thanked him for allowing, that, and he actually replied all with me, so he put in all the guards and everything into the CC, and sent an email back to me, and so they could all see what I wrote. So, and then
That's
the next
awesome.
morning, I went, and the guard's like, "Are you the one that wrote that email?" And I said, "Yes," and they put me to the front of the line.
Okay. You're like, yeah, I can compliment you too when you do things right. Like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes, and the other thing I would say, like, if you're advocating for your loved ones, don't be afraid to call above them. So, there's most prisons have a company they use for medical. If the prison isn't doing anything, call the direct number, and they will usually do something because they work in the medical field. So that's their passion, and they actually care. So,
That's good to know.
yeah.
What would you say, Christina, is like in your opinion, a misconception people have about prison wives that you wish that you could erase now that you're, like, in this space and you know everything?
That we date them because we have low self-esteem, or we can't find anyone, or because we're not pretty, or maybe we're overweight, when that's the furthest from the truth. There's a lot of gorgeous women that date them. Also, that our reality is not Love After Lockup reality TV show. A lot of people, will take my experience and put it. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, or they'll think there's something wrong with me, like maybe I'm crazy or something, so only a man in prison would want to be with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those are a lot of the misconceptions I wish we could change. Also, they have a very bad opinion about your loved one. They don't even know the crime yet. Anyone that's in prison is the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I will say there's one saying that always triggers me. And it's when they say, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. That always boils my blood and it rises up. And I'm like, what the?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's so hard sometimes to not like unleash the beast and just let them know about themselves.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes. And the prison watches because Kyle got a call once because I just went off on someone that, was talking bad about. And they look because he's like, did you write something back to a CO? I'm like,
well, they're the ones literally. I was in a live yesterday that was like Prison Wives live, and there were so many COs. The way that they just like hop, skip, and pitch a tent in any area where there are prison wives, like, why are you here?
right. Like, keep going.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, then I think I should be able to tell you what I want to tell you. Like, does your job know that you are spending your off hours harassing family members of incarcerated people?
Right. No,
Yeah.
exactly. And the thing is, like, when they commit a crime, they don't get the same stuff that, our loved ones get. They maybe will just be transferred or, it's like that doesn't seem okay. And I know I upset one once because I called them a guard and he's like, I'm a CO. And I said, well, now you know what my loved one feels.
Hey,
I'd be like, what? I'd be
checkmate.
like, what? Aren't you a guard? Is that not like?
I'm a correctional officer.
Okay.
Better. I
So
told one
sorry.
because they were bad mouthing me, and I looked up how much they make, and I said, "Well, your salary shows this." I go, "I make this, and I work for J.P. Morgan Chase." So,
Um,
Mic
if I were
drop.
you, I'd just wear a shirt that said that. Be like, thank you, don't talk to me. Mhm.
I have a question for you, Christina, personally. Based on this relationship, how have you grown, like your personal growth from your previous relationship now in this
so
one?
much. So I actually told Kyle I thanked him one day, and I said, "You helped me heal." So I will admit that I did get triggers. I was diagnosed with complex post traumatic stress disorder, and it's because I was in it for 10 years that now I have chronic
Mhm.
like trauma responses. So
Mhm.
um, if Kyle would do anything that was familiar to the other person, I would go into a full blown panic, a cry. I would like be, you know, I would say things like, "You don't love me anymore," or like, "You're breaking up with me," like all this crazy stuff. And it was because of, you know, my past experience. This is what I learned. So Kyle was very patient with me. And then afterwards, I would always apologize, and he'd like, "It's okay." But he did help me a lot, and he would explain, like, when I say this is what it means, not, you know. Um, so he's helped me grow or heal from my trauma a lot, and I'm in a better mental space as well too. Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I actually got a tattoo for it because after I realized all that, I realized he was the person that helped me heal. So what I did is I got a heart. One side has his thumbprint, and then the other side goes into a K, and then there's a heartbeat because what that represents is that I shunned off all dating, and basically he made my heartbeat again. And then it has a lotus flower because they grow in mud, so that's like representing
Yeah.
the trauma and stuff. And then there's a semicolon in the lotus flower because it means I'm still going, I'm still
Yeah.
continuing. Hmm.
That's
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. I got
yeah. I need you.
goosebumps.
You need to
Oh,
send me a photo of that. I'd love to see that.
yeah, that is so
Send
beautiful.
it, no problem.
I love that. It's crazy how they can heal us in ways that, you would have never even expected, like going into it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was gonna say it's so beautiful how that they, because it sounds like, you and I kind of have some parallels in our stories, how understanding and that they're going through traumas in there, and they still can be so empathetic and understanding. And like you said, he breaks it down for me when he's saying something, so I don't get those triggers. It just shows you how much compassion, love, and empathy these men inside have, and how amazing, like, people just discard them and toss them away with judgment. And yet some of these men are the most beautiful, caring, sensitive men that you've ever met in your entire life. And I'm so happy for you and for both of y'all that he's been that person to help you heal and grow, from moving from such a traumatic 10 years of your life to this now,
Yeah, another thing that's great, like if I'm having, like I'll tell him like I'm having some sort of trauma thing today, or I'll say I don't feel great today, or just anything. He will make it a point to call me more frequently on like those days to make sure I'm okay. So that's nice. And also like there's times where, because his prison, there's no AC, and right now it's over 100 degrees, so it does make you like lose patience or just snappy, and which is understandable. So what's good about him is usually when he does it, we'll get off the phone, and literally pretty quickly after he'll call me because he realized, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I took it out on me. So I think that's really, really sweet too, when he does that, because most guys don't care. They're like, oh, I hurt your feelings, get over it, and he does.
They
He cares.
use that time to like self-reflect and be like, oh shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And it shows, and it shows the effort on their part, to fix those mistakes, and it's just the effort and dedication to the relationships that they have.
Yeah, because even when I'm driving, he makes sure he calls me and, checks in with me that you're okay still, where are you? So, and he's never stopped me from living my life either. So, like last year, I was going to go on a cruise, and I said, are you okay if I go on a cruise? And he's like, of course. And he made it really like safe, because he was like, when you go shopping to get your cruise stuff, send me pictures of what you get. And then when I was on the cruise, he's like, just send me a message like twice a day so I know you're safe. I told him what days I had the port. So he's like, when you get back on the ship, just send me a quick message that you're back on the ship. It was really, I mean, it's just, it's like most guys get jealous, and, he's the total opposite. So it's just, it's really nice.
Healthy.
Yeah.
I need to know his zodiac sign.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's a Leo.
Oh, okay. What are you,
Really?
Christina?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, I love that. That works so well.
That is actually an interesting mix. Yeah, I was going to say.
Which is why, sometimes I get very emotional. My emotions are big. And, and then in turn, it makes him panic. So.
But who better to comfort you than a Leo?
Leo says
Yeah.
the best. Yeah, I will say he's a great Leo. He is. He's a great, and even like, our personalities are great, because, being in prison, sometimes he can get triggered really easy over something small, and I'm able to just, because of my, I think, self-care and stuff, I'm able to be like, okay, let's just work through this. It's okay. It's okay. Like one time he panicked when we were at visit, because so when you're on the outside, there's certain things we don't think of that they always have to think of. So like I dropped something, so naturally I'm like, I'm gonna pick it up and throw it in the trash. He like flipped out on it, because you don't know how dangerous that is. Like you can't do that. I have, and my brain though didn't put those pieces together, because I don't live in that environment. So I let him have his like meltdown, because I'm like, he's scared. It's not that he's mad at me. He's scared because he knows if something were to happen, his hands are kind of tied. He can't, do anything. So like anytime I would have to get up, every time I go to visit, he does this. If I get up to go somewhere, he gets up and just walks with me. He won't,
That's the Leo. That's the Leo.
Mhm.
He's like following you, protecting
Yes.
you.
Protector,
Yeah. And when I
yeah.
told other normal people about the story, like, oh, he's trying to control you. He has control issues. I'm like, no, that's not like, I'm able to see, just like he got mad one time because there was a lockdown. I didn't hear from him for a couple days. So when he called, I was crying. And he asked why I was crying. And I said I was scared and stuff. And then he kind of got agitated and then later he told me it's because he said it's hard for me when you're hurting. He's like, especially if it has to do with me. He's like, and I can't do anything. He's like, and I know you can't help getting scared. He's like, but I hate that, you got so worked up, and scared. That's, because I didn't know. It was like there were 4 deaths. So I'm like, and I called the prison. They wouldn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just want to know he's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's like, how do I fix this if this is
Yeah.
nothing I can fix, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I do know he does get really it really hurts him when I'm worked up because I'm worried about him.
Hmm.
He doesn't want that to happen. So
That's
yeah,
normal.
and I don't know if anyone else does this, but we do still have virtual dates. So every Friday, new movies come out. So we'll pick a movie, we'll watch at the same exact time, and then we'll talk about it later. We also read books together, so we'll both, get the same book. We're also doing a monthly movie subscription. I mean, not movie, sorry, magazine subscription for travel. And what we do is, what would we do if we went here? We like kind of like building, these memories and things like that. Doing that, so that's really it's really cool.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And that's great ways to stay connected through the times where you're not visiting,
Mhm.
and making a point to make this, even though this relationship is not the standard normal that society deems, like trying to make it as connected and keeping everybody involved and purposeful,
Yeah.
and making it as intimate as you
Right.
can with all of the boundaries that you
Yeah,
have.
absolutely. And with doing that, it also helps him too. Like I think he's the one that has helped me, but he has told me that I help him too. Because he said I'm the reason why he's on such good behavior. He's like, I have something to lose, and I don't want to lose that. So it really helps him on making sure he avoids certain situations, or he just does everything. He makes sure his uniform's all crisp. He does all these, like, he's trying really hard to be top notch so he can get closer to me, and then we can see each other hopefully every weekend instead of every 2 months.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. Yes. And Gigi, actually, the photo you did yesterday with the cans, and then and
Oh
then I did
yeah.
it. I actually sent it to him in a picture. So I told him there's a silly picture coming, and he was like, "What is it?" I go, "It's a surprise." I go, "But it'll probably make you laugh."
Aw.
Aw. I want to know what he
I will
says.
let you know. I will let you know. Yeah. Mhm. For sure. It's a fun one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more question that I wanted to
Okay.
ask. I just want to say, if Kyle was listening right
Mhm.
now, what would you want him to know?
I would want him to know that he changed my life. I wish I met him sooner. And I can't imagine my life without him anymore. And I love him so much. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be with him throughout this whole ride. And I can't wait until he gets out and we can actually build a life together.
I
He
can't
always
wait
makes
until
a joke. He's like, when I get out, you can tie one of my arms to your bed. That way, we know I won't ever get in trouble again.
Hey, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You guys have such a beautiful relationship, and I'm so thankful that you wrote in and wanted to share it with us because I loved your story and I think it was perfect for
Yeah.
this setting.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And I appreciate it, guys being accepting and stuff because I don't get that a lot with our relationship. It's hard. This is nice.
Relatable.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, we wanted to thank you so much, and we appreciate you and Kyle and y'all's love and sharing it and being brave to come on here and do it. And we wish y'all all the wonderful things for the future, and hopefully he can get closer to you and you can make your relationship just keep growing. And I'm really happy for you, um, that you were able to go from this dark, horrible place. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. That you were able to go from this dark and horrible place to this beautiful relationship full of all the love and all the healing. And it just, I feel so blessed to know you and to hear this story because it touches my heart. I've been there with you in those moments of darkness, and finding this relationship to be one of the healthiest ones is such a blessing. So I'm blessed to know you because you're beautiful inside and out, and to hear this relationship about your story and all of
Thank
that.
you. And I'm grateful that I found your podcast because, I tune in every Wednesday, and I remember when I found it, I was like, there's people for this. Like, I'm not alone. So it was, it's really nice, and I believe everything happens for a reason. So there's a reason that darkness happened, because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have enrolled into school for law. So it it all brought it all together, and I feel like it was the worst thing that happened to me, but it ended up being the best thing because of who I have now. And I'm so excited for what our future looks like.
I know we're excited for y'all's future too. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed hearing Christina's story. But now it's time. Uh-oh, I'm getting a call. I'm getting a call and I'm getting a call. Here we go. I wonder who could it be?
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Freddie.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
All right, guys, it's time for Florida Fred. And when he calls, that means it's time for your questions and comments. I did post something a little different last week. One of the questions I posted on our Instagram's stories was oh my God, I lost it. Dag nabbit. Well, I had it. What is something that about being a prison wife that no one warned you about, but wish that they had? So we had lots of feedback from this. So I wanted to go ahead and do one of them. One person said the loneliness, the kind that torments your soul. No one can prepare you for that. All right, Paige, did you have another one?
Yep.
Or another two?
You read the one that I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I screenshotted it twice. I'm sorry.
The next one I have is that despite loving them with everything you have, the lifestyle is still so exhausting. And I think that is the truth. It's exhausting, loving someone and giving them your all and realizing that, that they can love you back and give you their all right back, but it can't really be as much of your all that you give them because they can only give us so much. So it's kind of, it can be a give and a take, and it's definitely realizing that, this relationship isn't the same as normal relationships, and it can be exhausting. I literally had a moment last week where when I was going through my PMDD week, where I was watching a video of this girl getting ready for her wedding, and she was with all of her bridesmaids, and like she was all happy, and then it was like a slow-mo of her walking down the aisle and everything, and like her husband at the end smiling, and like all videos that I've seen before and like I've watched before, but for some reason, because of the mood I was in and my headspace, I just was like looking at it and I was just getting really upset. I was like almost crying, thinking about how, I'm not a person, like, even if I was to have a big wedding, like, I wouldn't want a big wedding. I wouldn't want a bunch of people looking at me. But I'm like, to have that moment, like, with my family and my friends and, like, with Joseph would be so special. And to to like sit and think about how, you know, I hope and pray one day that we do have that, but I don't know if we will. And, you know, I even was honest with Joseph about it. I was like messaging him. I was like, I know this sounds goofy, but I'm watching this wedding thing and I'm getting all upset about it. And he was awesome with it because, like, you know, I was a little nervous to tell him because I didn't want him to get upset because it's obviously something that he can't change either. But he was really, really great with me. And he was like, you know, one day, hopefully we will get that and we'll get to celebrate it and it'll be beautiful. And, you know, I'm doing everything I can on my end to try to get out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can't think of it like that. And I'm like, you know, I know. I was having a weak moment. And it goes back to that. It's exhausting. Like, you know what I mean? That whole thing is a part of our relationship. And I knew that when I started it. It's just one of those things that you have to like take and like hold with you and like almost grieve it in a way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have to actually feel the feels before you can accept, you know, like move into acceptance. So it is a grieving process. You have to grieve the fact that they're not going to be here. You have to grieve the fact that you're not going to have them for these major occasions and things like that. And that kind of goes with the loneliness aspect. I mean, you know, you have to grieve the loss of them basically in your life, like a normal relationship almost. So it's hard and it's trying. And listen, you can be doing this for a long time and still not always be completely accepting of it. There's days where I don't accept it, you know, and I'm having a hard time.
I'm 5 years in having this wedding moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Those little things trigger you, so it brings those feelings up to the surface for sure. All right, we have one speaky pipe that answers this question, and I want to just pull that up.
No one warned me how much I love the phone sex. That shit is fire.
All right. Well, hey, I love a good positive one. Thank you, honeys, for that. That was from Anonymous. And hey, you're not wrong. It does, like, this life makes you connect in ways that you've never thought possible, and it makes you adapt to different ways to find connection with your loved one, and phone sex is one of those. You know, and I'm glad, hey, I'm happy for you, honeys. Shout out to that. That you can have that intimacy, and not everybody gets the physical opportunity to do it. So being able to have that intimacy and it being wonderful, that is awesome, honeys. Because, you know, we adapt. We find ways for sure. All right, guys, now it's time for our general questions and comments. Every week on Friday, we post on our Instagram stories if you guys have any questions or comments for the pod episode. So we had one comment and one speaky pipe. So Paige, do you want to read that comment, please?
Yes, our comment was, I love y'all. Thank you so much for the support that you give us, prison wives, and we love you back. Thank you for letting us give you support and sharing the safe space that we created with our group in the pod and Patreon and everything.
Amen. Thank you, honeys, for that. All right, we have one speaky pipe, and here we go. This is from Anonymous.
Hello, my little dearest dandelions. This is your favorite boy in detention. Ooh, it's hotter than a billy goat and a pepper patch down here. Lord have mercy. I've been having to fan myself with a bologna wrapper just to keep from combustion. Now, I'm so sorry. I know it's coming, but I gotta write Michael and Justin an apology letter because I just keep accidentally adoring their wives again. But I mean, my bad, fellas. Y'all got some good taste. Now, to all my prison wives, y'all just keep it going. Just keep it going. And, you know, if y'all could just happen to send your boy here some funny memes, because I need to laugh, because shit sucks. But I swear, whoever sends me the best meme, I'm on my cousin's next parole hearing. I'm gonna tattoo your name on my neck. I'm gonna do it. All right, lovies. It's from your boy here, Florida Fred. You know I'm some Arkansas, so I'm gonna go try to find a shady pole to stand under. Love you.
God bless.
Oh,
Fred.
we love Florida Fred.
Really.
I love what Florida Fred calls it.
I
He
wonder.
always puts a
I
smile on my
wonder
face.
if Christina's man knows Florida Fred.
We need to ask her. We should ask her. Yeah. I wonder if they run together in the same circles.
Fred, Joseph will appreciate that you
Yes.
acknowledge
So
that.
will Mycicle for sure. For
Love
sure.
you.
Thank you, Florida Fred, for that call. And you guys, we need to send Florida Fred some snap and sends of some memes on JPay.
He wants
Huh?
memes.
He wants memes, and he said whoever has the best meme, he's gonna tattoo their name on his neck, y'all. That's
You know you want
dedication. Yeah, you want to be on Florida Fred's neck. Just saying. Well, that's all I had for Speaky Pipes. Thank you, Florida Fred. Shout out to you, honeys. We love you so much, and we're so glad that you called us in. And I think that's all I have, Paige. Did you have anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Okay. Oh, I wanted to show everybody. I got this made. It's my Mycicle pillow.
Aww.
I put it on my back.
I love that. He's supporting you.
Yeah, literally supporting me.
Now I need a Joseph.
Well, you guys,
pillow.
you do. You need a fat head and you need a Joseph
I
pillow. Just saying.
Both.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Then we can have our little heads, like our pillow heads dance.
Oh my God, literally.
Camera. Well, you guys, thank you for being here with us on episode 64. And we hope you enjoyed Christina's story. And there will be more stories coming down the pipe for the month of August. And we will be taking next weekend off. So we will be back the following week. But we love you guys. We'll miss you. And hit us up. Leave us some comments and speaky pipes. And we will see y'all in 2 weeks.
Love you. Bye.
All right. Love you guys. Y'all are the best. Besito.
Stay classy.
Love you guys.
This is for the
Bye,
ones
friends.
who love through the distance, for the ones who stay solid while time keeps ticking, for the ones who hold it down but never lose themselves. This is for the prison wives. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go. I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. They don't see the late nights, letters on the table, fighting through the system, just trying to stay stable. They don't see the count days, they don't feel the time crawl. They just see the sentence, but they don't see the love at all. Yeah, I made the vow and I stand 10 toes. Still got my life, still got my goals. I hold it down cause I choose to stay. This love got walls, but it don't got chains. Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go. I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. I'm a prison wife, but I'm still my own. Made my own moves, still stand on my throne. They think I'm just sitting here wasting my days. Nah, baby, I've been building while he counting the days. I ride for my love, I ride for my king, but I ain't no fool, I handle my biz. I ain't weak, I ain't lost, I ain't throwing my worth. I hold it down cause I know what it's worth. Through the letters, through the calls, through the gates, through it all. Love don't break, love don't fade. I'm still here, I'm still brave. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance made I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't